We're all familiar with the end, nether and overworld, right? Vanilla Minecraft's 3 dimensions? But what if I were to tell you that I was playing in a world where the nether lies literally underneath your feet and the end far above your head? Well, that's exactly what I'm doing. Today I'm going to be spending 100 days in a Minecraft world with dimensions that are stacked one on top of the other. If you like what you see, please consider dropping a like on the video and even subscribing to the channel if you're new. I'd appreciate it more than anything else. Thank you, and I hope you enjoy the video. So I spawn in, turn around, and the first thing I see is a village. Luckiest spawn ever, I think. I head into one of the houses and instantly have some food, no more starving to death. While I'm there, I also nick the bed as it's yellow, such an elite colour. I found myself some decent gear in the first blacksmith. I have obsidian now, although I don't think I'll be needing it. I did a little bit of vandalism, mainly just to keep myself alive with a food source, but my new villager neighbour clearly did not seem to approve. Keep those dirty looks to yourself, thank you. I headed over to the second blacksmith and found 3 diamonds in the chest. That's literally a whole diamond pickaxe on my first day, and I'm totally about to dominate these 100 days. I made myself an iron sword before realising I already had one in my inventory, and after an exhausting day of mining and crafting, I shoved a villager out of its bed in its own house and went to sleep. On day 2, I was up nice and early, but needed a quick snack before I went anywhere. I then ran into the nearest cave and collected some coal and iron and popped it in my furnace. I crafted the rest of my armour and I was pretty much ready to get back outside. I made a friend, I think, but he pretty much exploited me out of my wheat, so honestly I can't be sure. I left the village and went exploring, but I made sure to grab some sugarcane that I saw on the way. I ran for pretty much the rest of the evening before luckily bumping into another village that bordered a swamp biome. It had a mob spawner underneath, so I made sure not to break that in case I ever needed to use it for something. After all that, I ran into another house, abused yet another villager, and I had a nice sleep. On day 3, I wanted to make sure I could get as far away from the normal Minecraft biomes as possible. I came to this biome that I think looks pretty cool. My only problem with it is that the whole floor of it is water, and frankly, I'm not so great at building water houses. I considered a houseboat, but decided to just go with the plains as per usual, because it's so much easier to build there. I spent the evening designing my house, and it doesn't look too great right now, but I do have hopes for it. I decided that what I wanted to do was get some new types of wood. I went for an oak tree, which is obviously very familiar, but then came across a willow tree, which honestly I wasn't a fan of. I mean, the planks look like spruce, I could have just gone for spruce. I then went and decided to start on an upstairs floor, but decided against it and I went mining for stone for the roof instead. I think that what I'm gonna do is make some like stone slabs, but the smooth ones. Well, that's my plan. By the time it was day 5, all of my stone was smelted, and although I only used 12 slabs, it was the perfect amount for the roof. I then went off to go and grab some more wood because the floor in my house wasn't finished yet, so I went to go and finish it afterwards. I still have a lot to mine out, but I think it's going to look okay pretty soon. On day 6, I went straight outside to collect some sand for my windows, and then I found myself in a snow-covered mine shaft, but it had nothing in it, so it wasn't worth doing anything with. After spending a disappointment of an evening in a crappy Minecraft mineshaft, I eventually decided that it was time to start making a chest room, so I mined out parts of my wall and some of my floor and made a staircase to the upstairs part of my house. I then decided it was time to move my bed into the incomplete ruins of my house and I went to sleep. On day 8, I decided I was going to take a serious mining trip. I'd already gotten a full set of iron armor, but frankly I didn't feel like that was enough and I wanted to go for some diamonds. I also started the game off with some obsidian, which I was really lucky to find on the first day, so what I really wanted to do was get an enchantment table before it was too late and I got preoccupied with other stuff, which seems to happen a lot in my videos. I almost got killed a couple of times and then I decided that it was time to head back before I realised that you actually can't use an enchantment table without lapis, so I had to go back and get some, and then I was on my way. On day 13, I went to pop my iron in the furnace before going outside for a little bit. I saw the wandering trader who I want nothing to do with. I went back inside to craft myself an enchantment table, but I realised that I'd forgotten the diamonds, so I had to go back and get them. I then went outside to go and kill some cows, which frankly I did feel a bit guilty about, but I needed their leather for bookcases, and there's no other way to get any. On day 14, I decided to take myself on a little trip. I went mining some trees, and then I went into a cave, which Honestly, it was not part of the plan. I eventually got stuck down there, and although I came across some decent ores, I did almost get killed a couple of times, if not more than a couple. I then found this massive underwater cave, and I spent a lot of time exploring there, and I also found a bunch of diamonds, over and over and over again. It was pretty awesome though, as I raked in quite a profit. I did almost drown a couple of times, but honestly, that's not so bad once you're rich. I feel like being rich really, it makes it a lot more comfortable, drowning in Minecraft. On day 22, I was violated in my own house almost immediately. I had to get the creeper outside before I could destroy it, and then I decided that it was time to move my furnaces and my crafting table, so now we have a dedicated room for that, and I think it's okay. On day 23, I spent a long time smelting stone just to prepare for when I was building my roof, and on day 24 I finally started with that. Honestly, I'm not really a huge fan of the back part of the roof, but it could be a lot worse, I suppose. I'm gonna fix it later, I think. On day 26, I was back outside killing cows again, and this was simply because I wanted to get as many bookcases as I can, because my next goal is to get some enchanted gear. I want to get a fortune pickaxe first, which is my next aim, but I was able to secure 6 bookcases today, which I think is pretty great. On day 27, my aim was to get a new enchantment on my pickaxe. I was looking for fortune, but it's stuck at level 30, and I am obviously not that high up yet. On day 28, I was back down the mines, and this is simply because mining is a good source of XP. I tried to get as much coal as I could, and I luckily came across a couple of diamonds too, which I think is really awesome. Surprisingly, I didn't almost die this trip, so I'm actually pretty proud of myself this time. I'm super pleased because today on day 29, I was finally able to get that fortune enchantment that I wanted so much. On day 30, I decided to head back into the mines just to get some more XP and also to pick up a few more diamonds on my way. I got some coal while I was dive mining, which was pretty awesome as I am very happy with my new Fortune 3 pickaxe, and I found another water cave, which honestly I'm finding pretty scary. I found some more diamonds and I just swam around a bit. There was a drowned, but I just tried my best to ignore it. Nothing much happened. I did find a couple more diamonds, which was really good. And I was staying pretty safe for the most part. Like, I could hear some zombies around, but nothing much happened until here, where I pretty much failed at everything. After my embarrassment on camera on day 39, I was finally able to make my way back to the water cave on day 40. I believe that I got the majority of my inventory items, although honestly I can't be sure. But the only problem with this now was that I'd lost all of the XP levels that I've been trying so hard to gain. So I honestly could complain. I really could complain. I could spend at least a good half an hour complaining about this, but I'm gonna have to get some more levels however I can, and I think that mining ores is still the best way. That, or I make an XP farm in some way or another, and honestly I don't really know how that will go. On day 43, I finally crafted myself a set of diamond armor, which honestly I'd been waiting forever for. I then decided to go outside and just flex my armor, as frankly I think it's a really good look, but I didn't get to because this happened. On day 44, I decided to set off and try and go to the nether for the first time. It was bordered by a ton of obsidian, which normally replaces the bedrock that's around the nether, and it took me ages to get through. Like, I'm not kidding, it took me absolute ages, but finally I was able to get underneath the obsidian and through to the nether, which was pretty great. Like, it was a great feeling not to have to do the whole portal thing. And I went around exploring for a little bit. I've cut out most of it because nothing much happened. But I did find, like, I think, isn't it a warped forest? I believe it's a warped forest. And as I was leaving it, I found this. Or more, this found me. I'm really good at the game. Yeah, I just want to say that. On day 47, I went to go and return to all of my stuff that had fallen next to the lava pool. Now, when I died, I saw that there was a little bit of it that remained, although honestly, I had no idea what that stuff was. But I made my way back to the pool. You can see that some of my XP is down there, so I knew it was worth going down. And everything was going super smoothly, and I was really pleased that I was able to get back so quickly. Yeah, that was great. Well, you know what everyone says, third time's the charm, right? And thankfully this time I was able to retrieve my items, and God, I was proud, because that diamond pickaxe that I had, that took so much work to get. That honestly took so much work to get. And no, I didn't have any XP, and I did exit, but this happened. I guess I made a new friend on the outside, and this was so great. I really loved this. It was fantastic, absolutely. I was stumbling around the nether for a really long time, and on day 53 I actually came across a bastion. I had no idea that it was there originally, but then I realised that blackstone bricks don't just spawn on the ground in the nether for absolutely no reason. And you know, I jumped in here thinking that it was going to be all completely fine, and I had a lot of faith in myself for once. And I suddenly realised that that was completely incorrect. I shouldn't have had any, and I was way too far out of my depth. So I very quickly blocked everything up. I was absolutely freaking out. I was really losing it. And I decided to leave before I got slaughtered again. On day 55, I eventually found my way home, which was amazing because I didn't want to be in the nether anymore. I had absolutely had enough of it. Look at the state of my armor. Look at the state of that. I had full diamond and now I don't. On day 57, I went around shearing as many sheep as I could, simply because I wanted to get some beds for netherite. Now, I honestly don't really know how that's going to go, but I want to get as many as I can get so that I don't have to start doing trips back and forth. On day 59 I was back in the nether. I eventually got far enough down that it was netherite level, and then I somehow blew myself up. I have no idea how. On day 60 I was back in the nether and ready to try it out again. I was somehow under the assumption that what I'd suffered was a glitch, so clearly the logical thing was to do it again, and I blew up. Somehow, after all of my unfortunate deaths, on day 62 I was actually able to come across some ancient debris, which I definitely didn't expect. It didn't happen once, but 3 times in fact, and I left the nether at the end of the day with 7 ancient debris, which is way more than I ever expected to come across. I'd had enough of the nether, so on day 64 I went mining again, and somehow I accidentally bumped into a mob spawner, which I was really lucky to find. Now, funnily enough, I don't know if you guys have noticed, but I lost all my XP levels, so I decided to take advantage of this one. I spent a couple of days killing zombies for levels, and on day 67 I finally had enough to do a level 30 enchantment, and of course that went on my netherite chestplate. I also enchanted my diamond sword, but that came back kinda crappy. On day 69 I was back in my new mob spawner, and I was farming as many levels as possible. I planned to do this until I have a full enchanted set of armor, because that's what I really need next. On day 71 I returned back down to the mob spawner to do some more fighting, as XP really is the best thing to be going for right now. On day 73 I enchanted myself a new diamond sword, and then I crafted a second sword and a new bow, and I enchanted the bow and got power 3. On day 74, for some reason I had the very smart idea to go to the end, and since all I have to do is build up, it kind of was a lot easier than I expected it to be. On day 75 I finally arrived in the end, and it took me a while to bridge over, I'm gonna be honest. So by day 76 I was properly exploring the end, and honestly I didn't really have an idea of what I wanted to do, but I was lucky, because by day 80 I had accidentally run into an end city, which I didn't expect whatsoever, and my first aim was to go and get the elytra from the boat. I made a very stupid decision when it came to going to the end, as I bought a very limited amount of blocks, so I had to go and mine tons of endstone just to finally get onto the boat. But when I did, I was very happy to secure that elytra. Also, the shulker died so easily, so that was awesome too. On day 81 I was getting violated, a lot. I couldn't get anywhere without shulkers blasting me with their stupid thingy. I don't know what they're called, but the things that make you fly, and I hate it so much. But luckily I did get into the chest and I got some very cool loot. On day 82 I found another branch of the end city and decided to seal the ender chest, as I'm gonna need that for later. Then I was literally able to fly home, which was the easiest thing I think I've ever done. That's crazy, right? On day 85, I decided that it was a good idea to head back down to the mob spawner and do some XP farming. This was mainly just because I wanted to combine the armor that I got from the end city, and that was the plan. On day 88, I was still fighting zombies, but a bunch of skeletons came out of literally nowhere. I killed most of them and I thought I was doing pretty fine, so I knocked a skeleton off a cliff, but then a mob of baby zombies came at me. I have no idea why I jumped down when I could have just turned around to look at them. Everything was going fine and I was almost about to kill the last one when it set me on fire and then another skeleton shot me. Why? I'm not even gonna lie, I'm pretty sure I cried at this bit, but I went AFK for about half an hour and when I came back there were so many zombies. I think most of them came from the cave rather than the spawner, but still, it's crazy. By day 92, I finally had enough levels to leave, so I did, and I chose to combine my boots that I got from the end city because I think that those are super cool. By day 94, I realised that I really had to get my act together and start preparing to go to the end, so I went to go and get some arrows and stuff, because no skeletons around. I did the same thing on day 96, but I went to a new plains that I'd never explored before. It was very nearby the house, which honestly I didn't expect as I thought that I'd explored the majority of the land around there, but I hadn't at all. I did get a lot of arrows though, so that was really useful. On day 97, I decided to collect some water, have a snack, and then head straight to the end. Now I knew that because I was quite far out, I wouldn't be able to reach the main end island so quickly, so I went on a nice flight there. I reached the main end island by day 98 and I was ready to fight the dragon. I started by taking out the pillars as most people do, and if you don't, I'm not sure you've been playing Minecraft long enough. And I actually survived. Very surprisingly. Normally what I do is just throw myself into the crystal and hope that I don't get killed, but this time I actually had it logically planned out. And that was great because this meant that I didn't just get killed for no reason. It was pretty fantastic, I'm not gonna lie. The dragon did throw me up really high a couple of times, but for the most part it was safe and that was really good. I did, I guess, make a couple of enemies while I was running around the end, which kind of sucked because for the most part I thought I was kind of chill with everyone, you know. But anyway, I ignored the endermen that were really in my face by this point and I killed the dragon. That I'm really proud of. On day 100, my Minecraft spat straight facts, it really is truthful, and then I went home and I put my dragon egg in my ender chest. I'd just like to thank you so much for watching the video up until here. I know that it's been long and I really appreciate you taking the time to do that, so thank you very much. If you've enjoyed the video, please consider dropping a like and a comment as both of those would help me out a ton, and if you're new, I'd love to welcome you to my new subscribers community, so if you feel for subscribing, that would be amazing too. Another massive thank you to my channel members. You guys are amazing and I thank you so much for all of your support. Thank you guys for watching this up until here and I hope you have a fantastic day.